In our previous video, we illustrated the principles of least cost routing, and we've learned how to set the preference and hunt stop parameters in the vendor tariff besides the cost. Using these parameters, we can manage the position of the vendor in the routing list. We can move the vendor closer to the top of the list or to the top itself or down towards the bottom of the list. If the vendor is at the top of the list, when our customer tries to make a call, an attempt to establish a connection using the vendor at the top of the list will be made. And then when the call doesn't go through, all vendors will be processed in the order they are in the list. We can also exclude a vendor from the list using the hunt stop parameter. It works quite well, but there is a nuance. Let's say that our carrier E didn't have any rates to Zimbabwe previously, but now they do. And carrier E is also a special case. According to the GDPR regulations, we must send our European customers calls only to carrier E. That is why it's reserved. When a European customer places a call, it will be terminated only by carrier E. When a US customer makes a call, we would like it to use other routes and exclude carrier E completely. Then, operating only in terms of preference and hunt stop, we would ask ourselves the following questions. What preference values should be assigned and where should the hunt stop be set to allow some customers to use carrier E and others not to? As it turns out, it is impossible to do so only by combining different preference values and hunt stop. For this purpose, it's not enough to have a possibility to set parameters only on the vendor's side. We also need to be able to set parameters on the customer's side. Route category is an entity that allows us to do just that. It's a tag that we attach to different vendor routes. So for A and B, we are going to leave default route category. We don't need to do anything. It's already there, okay? For other vendors, we need to manually create additional category. Let's say we've created the category low cost, and let's tag carrier C with it. Our carrier D will be a premium carrier, and our E will be a reserved VIP carrier. In a moment, we are going to see how to add these tags to our rates. Routing plan is a portability entity that defines how we route calls from a particular group of customers. Our routing plan for our residential customers is going to look like this. Priority 50 for our default routes, priority 50 as well for our low-cost routes, and priority 30 for our premium routes. This is how our routing list is going to look like. First, the carriers will be sorted by category. Carriers A and B have the same category, so they will be further sorted by preference, and they also happen to have the same preference. So the last parameter they're going to be sorted by is the price. Vendor C is going to be just under A and B, and vendor D is going to be at the bottom of the list. So now let's see how it works on our web UI. Let's go to Infrastructure, Voice Call Processing, Routing, and create the route categories that we need. But first, let's check that they're not in the system already. Okay, we don't need to create the routing category default because it's always present. The categories we need are low cost, premium, and VIP. Here is low cost already, so we do not need to create it. Let's create premium. We have to go to create, not search. Premium. Okay, and VIP. Let's click save. Now we can attach route category labels to our existing rates in the vendor tariff. Okay, let's go to our vendor that's called carrier A. Let's search for carrier A. And if we go to connections, we can click directly on the tariff attached to this connection. And let's go to rates and see what category is assigned to Zimbabwe mobile rate. Okay, let's go here to the right and click edit. For carrier A, we needed the default category. It's assigned by default, so we don't need to change anything here. The route category for our vendor B is going to be default, so no changes are required there. Let's go directly to our carrier C. Carrier C is going to be assigned the category low cost. Okay, let's go to edit and change default to low cost. Let's click save and now do the same for carriers D and E. Carrier D. Carrier D is going to be premium. Let's click save and let's do the same for carrier E. And the category for carrier E is going to be VIP. Okay, let's click save. And our labels are ready.